Judge, can you hear me? Oh, okay.
Judge storms out mid-hearing, fed up with Blake Lively's courtroom lies, PR stunts, and collapsing credibility. Victims expose blackmail, threats, and toxic work abuse, while her fake feminist brand crashes in real time.
The perfect idea of how vicious this truly has become behind the scenes.
Hollywood ghosts her, and all she's got left are discount mist bottles and decade-old throwbacks no one asked for. Blake Lively standing in the middle of a courtroom while everything around her burns. And the judge? The man didn't just lose patience. He got up and walked out. Like, physically stood up, slammed his gavel, and bounced mid-hearing. Why? Because Blake Lively turned his courtroom into a red carpet disaster with legal jargon.
Blake, you have got to behave yourself going forward because your case is crumbling.
New victims came forward with serious accusations. We're talking witness tampering, emotional coercion, and blackmail. Not vague shade or tabloid whispers, actual legal claims with receipts. And while these victims were reading out the threats, like real, documented messages, Blake's lawyers sat there looking like they were auditioning for a reboot of Clueless Courtroom Edition. And the judge? Oh, he was done. He called it out to their faces, saying this wasn't a trial. This was a clown circus dressed in luxury branding. That's not even hyperbole. That's a direct quote. When your judge starts using metaphors from The Real Housewives, it's time to reevaluate your strategy.
We don't need this Blake Lively, please. There are real women, by the way, who are being, I want you to understand this, there are real survivors of like women who did nothing, were walking to their car and a stranger, and that's what makes me angry.
One witness said the threats Blake allegedly made behind closed doors were like something out of a mob movie, the kind where people smile through their teeth while sliding NDA forms across the table. Then came the moment that completely broke the courtroom. Blake's team was cornered over a specific date, February 14th. That's when Scott Swift, yes, Taylor Swift's dad, handed over the full blackmail narrative in a 1-hour voicemail that spelled out Blake's mess like a Netflix documentary. And Blake's legal team? Crickets. They didn't even try to deny it. They just sat there while the judge stared at them like, is this really what we're doing now?
I'll tell you why, because Taylor Swift's father, Scott Swift, willingly provided the information that they were looking for as part of a deal to prevent his daughter from any further involvement.
Let's be real. If a federal judge physically leaves the bench because you and your team are that full of nonsense, maybe the issue isn't the press, or the haters, or the misunderstood beauty mist empire you built. Maybe the issue is you, Blake. Now let's talk about the betrayal. Because this wasn't just a courtroom implosion, it was a full-blown Swift strike. Blake Lively really thought Taylor Swift, her bestie, her dragon, her little PR teddy bear, was gonna ride in and rescue her. Wrong. So wrong.
The Blake versus Justin drama. So they had to agree to withdraw their subpoena, and it's Taylor's father that stepped in and gave them the requested information. Now, he also provided Justin Baldoni's team with the bombshell claim that Blake Lively threatened to leak his daughter's text messages if Taylor did not publicly support her.
Taylor didn't run to the press. She didn't make a statement. She didn't even send a cryptic Instagram caption with a snake emoji. What did she do? She let her father, Scott Swift, hand over a digital archive of everything Blake tried to sweep under the rug. I'm talking receipts, timelines, files, all neatly tied up with a bow, and delivered straight to Baldoni's legal team.
And Scott has defended her so much. Her father, Taylor Swift's father, is a savvy man. He financed her entire career coming up. He has a lot to lose. If Taylor's reputation takes a hit because of Blake, that's years and money down the drain.
Imagine thinking someone's your backup, and they quietly just send the whole group chat to your enemy. No phone call, no heads up. Just boom! All your fake apologies and girl boss guilt trips in an email inbox labeled Exhibit A.
That friendship isn't just a little bit under strain, it's well and truly done and dusted. If Taylor Swift is being threatened with having years of her private text messages released, that's pretty down and dirty.
Now here's the twist. After that happened, Blake's team had the audacity, the actual guts, to spin the situation like they won. They told the press the subpoena was dropped like it was some kind of victory parade, as if the other side didn't get what they wanted already. No, ma'am. According to court filings, Taylor's camp had already voluntarily turned over everything. There was no need for a subpoena anymore. The truth had already been served up, cold and brutal, just like Taylor's entire vibe in this drama. Even the judge roasted them mid-session. He literally said, "Truth doesn't need a mic drop. It needs documentation," and Swift delivered. When a judge is quoting Swift and you're on the wrong side of it? Yeah, the story's not in your favor, Blake.
Blake Lively's side wants to retaliate. I mean, this is just this battle. It was over nothing. They started a fight over something that they should have just allowed to die down. The story would have been done in a week or two.
And if that wasn't humiliating enough, let's get into the texts. The archive Blake tried so hard to erase. 10 years. That's how long Blake had been texting Taylor. And when things started getting legally messy, her lawyer allegedly tried to get Taylor to delete it all. 10 years of texts. That's not just deleting conversations. That's burning your own diary and pretending you never had feelings. The prosecutors called it exactly what it was: intent to destroy evidence. Let's just stop and breathe on that. A grown woman, a millionaire, a mother of 4, allegedly trying to wipe 10 years of messages from someone who owns more lawyers than Blake has hair mist formulas. What was the plan here? That Taylor would just go, "Sure, Blake, let me just hit delete real quick"? Spoiler alert, Taylor didn't delete a damn thing. Instead, her lawyer submitted everything through back channels, wrapped in timestamps and legal tape. Oh, and get this. One of Taylor's attorneys even called it the most blatant extortion tactic I've seen in 20 years. 20 years. And this is a man who's probably dealt with Silicon Valley billionaires and actual mobster-level litigation. But nope, Blake Lively wins the cringe trophy.
Blake Lively being rather unpleasant instead of being America's golden girl. And now it's this massive legal fight that is going to absolutely drain their resources and completely damage their reputations.
The real cherry on top? That February 14th voicemail from Scott Swift. That thing became the smoking gun. The judge paused mid-proceeding after hearing it and asked, "Is this a celebrity trial or a mafia script?" Sir, same. At this point, even the courtroom stenographer probably needed a shot of tequila and a prayer. Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's lawyer, dropped a motion so damning it could have doubled as a Netflix docuseries pitch. The accusations? Legal bullying, obstruction of justice, and behind-the-scenes pressure campaigns that make House of Cards look like a Disney Channel show. Meanwhile, Blake's team was in shambles, and not even Ryan Reynolds could Deadpool his way out of this embarrassment.
Ryan Reynolds has asked a judge to dismiss him from the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively lawsuit, saying that there are no legal grounds for any claim against him.
A judge literally walked out of his own courtroom because Blake Lively's case was that messy. Taylor Swift burned her friendship like an old concert set list and handed over everything. Blake tried to delete a decade of texts and got outplayed by a silent Swift strategy. And now, the only script she's stuck with is the one where she's the villain in her own courtroom tragedy. Let's talk about the empire. Or more accurately, the expired empire. Blake Brown Beauty. The brand Blake Lively once paraded like it was the next Estee Lauder. But let's be real. It turned out to be the Dollar Tree version of Glossier with a hint of delusion. Launched in summer 2024, this glitter-drenched fever dream made a promising splash, pulling in $5 million in sales the first month. But apparently, that was just the grand opening before bankruptcy special. Fast forward to 2025, and Blake's hair products are now playing hide-and-seek with dignity in the clearance section. Bottles that originally screamed luxury at $18.99 are now sitting next to off-brand deodorant for $2.99. That's right, $2.99. I've seen gas station hot dogs go for more. What happened, Blake? Did the shampoo lose its sparkle? Or did the public just figure out they were buying a broken promise wrapped in pastel branding? Here's the math. The brand was projected to hit $100 million in annual revenue. Bold, ambitious, hilarious, because now it's limping toward $15 million total. On a good week, they're lucky to scrape in $350K. That's not beauty empire status. That's garage sale energy. And influencers? Oh, they noticed. Fast. Multiple content creators blasted the brand for being not just overpriced, but downright dangerous. One lid was reportedly so sharp it could shave a judge's patience. Another said opening the bottle felt like disarming a weapon with wet hands. You'd think she was selling grenade serum, not conditioner. Even the judge couldn't resist taking a jab. He said, in open court, mind you. If only her truth was as polished as her shampoo packaging. I mean, when a federal judge roasts your hairline harder than Twitter, maybe it's time to retire the label and go back to acting, or at least pretending you're good at it. Now, let's get into the next chapter of this disaster novel, the victim testimonies. Because if you thought the PR fallout was messy, just wait until you hear what came out in court.
When everybody is achieving this fake victimhood, is that it makes nobody believe the real victims. And there are tons of them. There are tons of women who have survived.
One former employee recalled a private dinner in 2022, the kind of event Blake probably thought was intimate and exclusive. Instead, it was allegedly the setting of a meltdown. When a staffer mentioned Taylor Swift's name, Blake allegedly threw a wine glass across the room. Not metaphorically, literally, like some kind of Real Housewives spin-off no one asked for. The staffer later received a non-disclosure agreement offer. Coincidence? I think not. Another ex-employee came forward with receipts showing salary manipulation, hush-money bribes, and good old-fashioned emotional abuse, all while working for either Preserve or Blake Brown Beauty. Because apparently when Blake creates a company, it comes with two things: poor management and trauma. But wait, it gets better. The most brutal testimony came from a former intern. This poor soul claimed that Blake herself dictated a fake apology statement for a workplace incident involving harassment. Then, once the backlash got spicy, she allegedly ghosted the entire PR team, like fully disappeared, Casper style. She used a real intern as a human shield for damage control and then vanished into her fragrance cloud of failure.
There are people who have been by their fathers, who survived things in their homes and come out of it. And you diminish their stories when you're just like a flippant, arrogant, C-list actress who married another person who's arrogant and flippant.
The courtroom erupted. You could hear jaws hit the floor. Even the judge snapped. He looked Blake's legal team dead in the face and said, "You're not defending a person. You're curating a lie." Do you know how hard you have to flop for a judge to drag your whole identity like that? It's performance art at this point. And Blake? She just sat there, no reaction, no expression, like she was buffering in real life. Meanwhile, her lawyer looked like they were praying for a recess and a teleportation spell. Now, if you think her public image was hanging by a thread, get ready. Because Hollywood just hit the unfollow button. Hard. Emily Blunt and John Krasinski, gone. Rob McElhenney and Caitlin Olsen, distancing faster than celebrities at a canceled pool party. Variety even reported that no one wants to catch the PR plague that is Blake Lively. The term PR plague isn't something you come back from. That's not a bad week. That's career leprosy. And Blake, being the queen of cringe she is, tried to spin this Hollywood exodus into a reunion tour. Her brilliant idea? Repost a 10-year-old photo with Paul Feig at a pizza place. That's right. In the middle of this fiery courtroom hellstorm, she's out here sharing throwback pizza pics like it's 2013 Tumblr. And guess what? The court literally called it irrelevant fluff. It's not just sad, it's laughable. Imagine being so desperate for positive press, You dig through your camera roll for old mozzarella memories. According to insiders, even Target executives, yes, Target, the brand she used to name drop every 10 minutes, have stopped answering her calls. When Target ghosts you, it's game over. One TikToker summed it up best. At this point, her social circle is shaped like a triangle, and it's shrinking. Let's be honest, it's more like a dot now. You see, this isn't just about a brand collapsing or friendships dissolving. This is about watching someone who built an entire image around being relatable and America's sweetheart turn out to be the antagonist in her own downfall saga. And she's not even trying to fix it. She's just tossing old photos and overpriced mist into the void and hoping someone bites. Let's call it what it is. Blake's out here selling chaos disguised as self-care and friendships wrapped in fraud. And every single thing she touches is turning to PR ash. So, to recap, her beauty brand flopped so hard, it's now battling for shelf space with expired lotion. Her former staffers are treating courtrooms like therapy sessions. Her friends? Gone. Her damage control? 10 years old and crusty. And her reputation? Circling the drain faster than her weekly revenue. But sure, Blake. Post that photo from 2014. Maybe it'll shampoo away the subpoenas. So apparently, Blake Lively woke up one day and decided she was Meghan Markle. Same delusion, different fragrance. Because let's be honest, when critics start comparing your downfall to Markle's overpromise, underdeliver, blame everyone but yourself era, you've officially hit rock bottom. The gaslight gatekeep girl boss playbook isn't just outdated, it's crumbling in real time. And Blake? She's still reading from the first chapter like it's 2016.
What I make of this is another Meghan Markle. There are receipts. Be careful what you say, be careful what you do. Because if you go and accuse someone of not having the proper intimacy coordinator on set because they're trying to, freestyle it, then you can't do the same thing to your male co-star.
Let's talk about the clip. A lovely little gem from 2018 just resurfaced, showing Blake grabbing Henry Golding's crotch during a filming session. Yeah, you read that right. On camera. Then she joked about it like it was adorable. Like, oops, did I just grope my male co-star? Haha, feminism! This was supposed to be funny, apparently. But now that she's out here accusing Justin Baldoni of misconduct on set, this moment has aged about as well as her shampoo stock. And when that video started circulating again, social media lost its mind. The hypocrisy wasn't just glaring, it was radioactive. One headline actually called her the Amber Heard of hair mist. That's not even shade. That's full solar eclipse energy. Her credibility went up in flames faster than her PR team could say context. And the judge? Oh, the judge was done. He reportedly snapped and said, "You accuse others of misconduct while your own behavior is on camera?" You could hear her legal team trying to sink into the floor.
Again, I know a lot of people compare her to Amber Heard, but to me, this is a Meghan Markle move where she accuses someone of doing something that we know she's done previously. You're a bully, I'm a bully, etc.
This was supposed to be Blake's empowering moment, her big feminist arc. But when your version of women's empowerment includes publicly humiliating a co-star and then hiding behind a victim narrative, that's not feminism. That's performance art dipped in irony. One commentator even said, Blake's feminism lasts as long as her shampoo line. One rinse, then gone. Ouch. But Blake didn't stop there. Oh no. She launched herself into the most chaotic phase yet. Full-blown PR meltdown mode. If the previous chapters were tragic, this one was straight up slapstick. First, she pushed a $30 hair mist on Instagram like it was holy water, claimed Ryan Reynolds wears it too, because of course she did. Nothing says desperation like dragging your husband's armpits into your failing rebrand. And the internet? Yeah, no one bought it. Literally and figuratively. Comment sections lit up with people asking if the mist also repels subpoenas or masks the scent of burned bridges.
So Ryan Reynolds doesn't think it's fun anymore and he wants out. Hi, my name is Nigel Burns.
Then Blake went on a feminist nostalgia binge. She randomly resurfaced Amber Tamblin's 10-year-old poetry book and pretended it was hot off the press. Like, look at me, I support women's voices. Ma'am, that book was written when TikTok didn't even exist. This wasn't activism. It was panic-drenched virtue signaling with a dusty paperback. And behind the scenes, chaos. PR firms are now reportedly refusing to represent her without a crisis clause. You know how bad it is when the people paid to clean up messes say, "We'll pass unless you give us hazard pay." According to an insider, working with Blake right now is like babysitting a fire while juggling knives. It's a full-time risk with no upside.
And you're both narcissists and you just want to take a movie. Like, shame on you. We're seeing this through the end.
Even Forbes-style media outlets couldn't sugarcoat it. One headline straight up called her brand pivot cosmetic activism wrapped in liquidation pricing. And honestly, that's a bar. Because when your feminist comeback plan includes overpriced mist, a reprint from 2013, and a courtroom strategy that's 90% delusion and 10% Instagram quotes, there's no saving you. You're not empowering anyone. You're exhausting everyone. And speaking of exhausting, her legal team tried pulling the most bizarre stunt yet. In court, they presented a literal slideshow of her press coverage. Not evidence, not timelines, not affidavits, press clippings. Like they were pitching a sequel to A Simple Favor instead of defending a crumbling case. The judge took one look and said, "I asked for evidence, not an ego deck." Savage doesn't even begin to cover it. Imagine thinking your Vogue feature matters in a courtroom that just listened to victims describe NDAs and harassment threats.
Well, this does not look good for Blake Lively because she is refusing to participate in a neutral third-party investigation into her claims of harassment. Now, we already know both Wayfair and Sony have gone on record saying that Blake Lively never filed any HR complaints throughout production.
This wasn't a defense strategy. It was a PowerPoint meltdown. A sad parade of headlines in a place where people were begging for truth. When your final Hail Mary is a slideshow, maybe it's time to close the laptop and sit with your decisions. And now, we arrive at the beautiful train wreck finale. Because after months of gaslighting, name-dropping, brand flopping, and filter hiding, it all collapsed in real time. Blake's whole strategy, silence the victims, weaponize Taylor Swift, and hijack public sympathy, backfired so hard it left a crater. The judge's walkout wasn't a moment of drama. It was the last straw. The official rejection of celebrity nonsense dressed up as legal defense. He didn't storm off because he was overwhelmed. He left because he was disgusted, fed up with the excuses, tired of the performance, over the circus, her beauty business? In ruins. Once projected to be a $100 million empire, now it's clinging to life with $2.99 discount stickers and sad end cap placement at struggling stores. As of May 2025, Blake Brown ranks number 78 among Target's top 100 beauty vendors. Just last year, she was ranked number 7. That's not just a fall, that's a full nosedive into irrelevance. And her legal strategy? Boomeranged so hard it slapped her on the way back. Instead of clearing her name, she became a meme. Her own courtroom story was turned into TikTok montages, stitched over clips of exploding shampoo bottles and popcorn gifs. And finally, the line that sealed it all, the quote heard through every corner of the internet. The judge, overheard outside the courtroom, said it best. "This isn't justice. This is spin, and I won't sit here and validate it for one more second." And with that, the curtain dropped on what might be the most gloriously embarrassing celebrity implosion we've seen in a decade. So let's be clear, Blake Lively didn't just lose a case, she lost the plot, the script, the narrative, the brand, the support, the credibility. All of it, gone. She tried to turn a court case into a comeback tour and accidentally hosted her own public funeral. And the best part? She still thinks a mist bottle and a reprinted book can fix it.